I don't know why should I repeat this once again every class. I shouldn't be doing this, but anyway. Let me see, where are the PowerPoint? Here it is. Here it is. Let's complete. Oh my God, people still arriving. Hold on, guys. Andrea Gonzalez, Sepúlveda. Gonzalez and Sepúlveda. Okay, on time. It's recording, yes it is. Okay, let's continue the class. Okay, yesterday we talked about revolution that took place during those days in 1776, around 1776, 1778. First was the independence of the United States, and then in 1778, no, 87, I think, 1787, it was the independence of France. Okay, I think, yes, I finished this talking to you yesterday. Okay, here it is. So during those days, they were concerned, and then they were worried because they didn't wanted to turn something in America, something in what it was like in Europe, like a monarchy. So they create Mr. James Madison. He created a document that is well known, that is the Constitution of the United States, where it reflects all ideas of Mr. Montesquieu. Now, he said that we have to separate, the government need to separate the powers in three branches. These are the three branches. Montesquieu idea Constitution divided power among three branches. The legislative branch, called Congress, will make laws. That's the purpose, really, of a Congress, of a parliament. That's the idea. Here in Panama is the only place where they try to resolve other things, but the real assignment of people who work in the parliament here in Panama is only to create laws. That's it. They are not supposed to be paying or taking care of the people who vote for them. No. The purpose is only to create laws. That's it. They don't have to lend money or buy refrigerators, things like that to the voters. No. That's not their job. Now the executive branch is the president, the head, and the president would enforce law. But the president here in Panama, he doesn't enforce law, unfortunately. And the judicial branch, a court system, would interpret the law, and they I don't know, they are out of focus also here in Panama. This only happened here in Latin America. Okay, now, okay, the same thing, Americans government under the Constitution. These are the different assigns that they are supposed to take care of: the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. Now let's move on to the revolution in France, the French Revolution. As Americans fought for and create a new nation, the French people paid close attention to events. They were inspired by Americans to fight for their own rights. An unfair society that took place during those days in France. That's why that was the reason they decided to get their own independence. The French king ruled over a society split into three groups called states. They were divided in three groups during those days, the society. The clergy were a member of the first state, enjoying many privileges. That's from the church. The nobles made up second state. They held important positions in the military, government, and in the court. And the third state, most French people belong to the third stage. Included were peasants, craft worker, and shopkeeper. The third state paid the highest taxes, but had few rights, and that wasn't fair at all. The government was heavily in debt, tenía muchas deudas. So Louis XVI wanted to raise money by taxing the rich people. And of course, they didn't want it to pay because to pay those taxes. Why they? Why them? To do so, in 1789, he called together member of the three states. So they called these these three states. He called it and asked them for that race. The third state member formed a separate group called the National Assembly. They split it. The third one, the people. And this group demanded that the king accept a constitution limit his power. Now, Louis XVI refused to agree to such demand as usual. He doesn't want it to be limited in their power. So he refuses. And angry many Parisians, y lo molestó a muchos parisianos. Violence broke out in July 14, el 14 de julio de 1789. July 14, 1789. Y los Estados Unidos fue 4 of July 1776. Ok, 6 y 4, 10 años. Ok, 10 años. 76, 3 plus 9, 12. Yes, 12. 12 years later from the Americans' independence, more or less. So July 14, 1789, a mob stormed Paris prison, the Bastille, La Bastilla, tomaron la Bastilla. After forcing the guards to surrender, the mob used guns from the buildings to free the prisoners. The French Revolution had begun. This is a picture that tried to recreate what happened during those days. Storming of the Bastille, 14th of July, 1789. The French citizens attacked the government fortress in downtown Paris, taking weapons and freeing political prisoners, because there were a lot of political prisoners in this La Bastilla. Show that King Louis XVI no longer controlled his subjects, a sus súbditos. Revolution and change. Now, there was a movement made of women. The Women's March on Bastille. Women's upset about the bread price, gathered, o sea que también subieron el precio del pan, bread price, gathered at Versailles October 5, 1789. King Louis XVI forced to go back to Paris. After the Bastille fell, the revolution spread to the countryside. Comenzó en la capital y después se esparció en el interior del país. Peasants there were afraid that the king or noble would crush the revolution. In events called the Great Fear, peasants took revenge on their noble landlord for years of poor treatment. In their rage and fear, the peasants burned country houses and monasteries. So they went crazy. Declaration of Right of Man and the Citizen. This document guarantees some freedom for citizens and distributed the payment of taxes more fairly. Among the rights declared supported were freedom of speech, of press, and religion. Libertad de expresión, de información y de religión. Over here it explains some of this information that was supposed is in this Declaration of Right of the Man, men's rights. Hold on. So let me see. Yes. So Louis XVI was forced to accept the new laws. He didn't want to accept, but anyway, but the new laws did not satisfy the revolution's leaders. So in 1782, they ended the monarchy and created a republic. The next year, the leader put Louis XVI on trial. Luis se lo pusieron y lo ejecutaron. Aquí está la cabeza de Louis XVI. Lo decapitaron. Chop, chop, chop. So facing unrest in 1783, estaba muy convulsionada. The new French government began to order trial of any who questioned its rules. O sea, todos los que no estaban de acuerdo con lo que estaban instaurando, lo llevaban a trial, a juicio. In the period that followed, called the Reign of Terror, el reino del terror. Yeah, the Reign of Terror. Thousands of people were executed with the guillotine. Muchas personas fueron ejecutadas en la guillotina. The reign of terror begins in France this year, after the revolution. Eventually, France created a democratic government. Enlightenment ideas about freedom were powerful. Once they took hold, they would not go away. Many Europeans and Americans enjoy freedom today thanks to Enlightenment ideas, definitely. Okay, now let's watch a video that talks about the French Revolution. Let's see if this computer is working, because in the morning I was struggling. Oh, that's why. It's trying to install, this computer is trying to install this program that is causing me a lot of trouble. This program, the team program. Oh my God, I should have installed this program. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to stop this. Okay. Let me shut this down. I think I got it. Okay. It's making this computer crazy, this program. I'm having a lot of trouble since the morning. Okay, hold on. Oh my God. Oh, I quit. Where are you guys? Oh, you are here. You are back. Okay, hold on. As I was saying, my computer is, hold on, because of this program, Teams program, hold on. Let me share, Rosetta is still here, hold on. It's trying to enter. Okay, hold on, the video is here. Here it is. Here it is, guys. So let's watch a video that talks about the French Revolution and everything that took place during those days. The years of revolution. Let me see the story of Colin America. No, I wanna hear it. No, this one, no. French Revolution, this one. Like you see this computer, oh my God, it's slow because of this program, these Teams. Come on. Oh my God. Okay, here it comes. Hopefully. Come on. Come on. Jesus Christ. Okay, here goes. As usual, commercial.
Hello friends, welcome to a new Happy Learning video. Today, we're going to learn about the French Revolution. One of the most important events in world history, since it shifted the passage from the modern age to the contemporary age and performed the biggest political and social change that has ever been known in Europe. The French Revolution occurred at the end of the 18th century, exactly in the year 1789. At that time, King Louis XVI ruled. It was an absolute monarchy. That is, the king had all the power and could make the decisions that he wanted, without having to answer to anyone. Thanks to his power, Louis XVI and all the nobles who supported him had great wealth and great privileges. Meanwhile, the common people, the bourgeoisie, such as medical lawyers, artisans, merchants, or peasants, had to pay many taxes and lived, the vast majority, in misery. Fed up with this situation, the most disadvantaged social classes formed the National Assembly and decided to write a constitution where the rights and duties of all social classes were collected in a more just and egalitarian manner. From that moment on, violent riots began. On July 14th, 1789, in Paris, the capital of France, a large mass of people went to Bastille, prison, where all those who had opposed the king were imprisoned, to free them. This assault became the symbol of the revolution. In the rest of the country, there were also many revolts and peasants rebelled violently against the nobles, looting and destroying their castles. The National Assembly took power and governed based on three great values: liberty, equality, and fraternity. The new governors wrote a very important document, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, antecedent of the Constitution that was approved 2 years later. The French people dethroned King Louis XVI, and both he and Queen Marie Antoinette, his wife, were beheaded in the guillotine. The consequences of the French Revolution were many, but the most important thing was that it ended the inequality between social classes, that new rights were established for citizens, and that democratic ideas were spread to the rest of the countries of Europe. The truth is that knowing the past, the present is better understood, and the future is improved. Don't you think? Goodbye, friends! Until the next happy learning video.
Now let's watch the other one that talks about this is funny. It talks about which one you might not know what might not know about the French Revolution. I think this one. Let me see. Pues quizás declaración de independencia.
Esta es la breve pero impactante historia de la comunidad que decidió ser parte de la solución y no parte del problema.
Yeah. This is in Spanish.
All men are created equal, and they are endowed with the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Not so fast, Mr. Jefferson. These words from the Declaration of Independence and the facts behind them are well known. In June of 1776, a little more than a year after the war against England began with the shots fired at Lexington and Concord, the Continental Congress was meeting in Philadelphia to discuss American independence. After long debates, a resolution of independence was approved on July 2nd, 1776. America was free, and men like John Adams thought we would celebrate that date forever. But it was 2 days later that the gentlemen in Congress voted to adopt the Declaration of Independence, largely written by Thomas Jefferson, offering all the reasons why the country should be free. More than 235 years later, we celebrate that day as America's birthday. But there are some pieces of the story you may not know. First of all, Thomas Jefferson gets the credit for writing the Declaration, but 5 men had been given the job to come up with a document explaining why America should be independent. Robert Livingston, Roger Sherman, Benjamin Franklin, and John Adams were all named first. And it was Adams who suggested that the young and little-known Thomas Jefferson join them, because they needed a man from the influential Virginia delegation, and Adams thought Jefferson was a much better writer than he was. Second, though Jefferson never used footnotes or credited his sources, some of his memorable words and phrases were borrowed from other writers and slightly tweaked. Then Franklin and Adams offered a few suggestions, but the most important change came after the Declaration was turned over to the full Congress. For 2 days, a very unhappy Thomas Jefferson sat and fumed while his words were picked over. In the end, the Congress made a few minor word changes and one big deletion. In the long list of charges that Jefferson made against the King of England, the author of the Declaration had included the idea that George III was responsible for the slave trade and was preventing America from ending slavery. That was not only untrue, but Congress wanted no mention of slavery in the nation's founding document. The reference was cut out before the declaration was approved and sent to the printer. But it leaves open the hard question: how could the men who were about to sign a document celebrating liberty and equality accept a system in which some people owned others? It is a question that would eventually bring the nation to civil war, and one we can still ask today.
Okay, guys, I tried to summarize as much I could according to this book about this period in time that talks about revolution in America, guys. So let me stop here. Sorry, hold on. Here it is. Okay. Hi, I'm back. I think I'm back. As I said, my computer is too slow today because of this this platform, Teams platform. Okay, guys. So we finished today. We finished all the information. I don't think if this is included. Is this included in your test? No, I don't think so. Okay. But anyway, this topic is gonna be included for the last trimester. Okay, this topic is gonna be included for it. So you need to complete, as usual, the vocabulary and the assessment questions. Are we clear, guys? I think I assigned it already, which are the questions that you need to answer. Okay, guys? Okay, it's 8:30. You have to go, and I have to go. See you next week, and good luck for your exams next week. Bye-bye. Take care.